Finally tonight, as we approach next month's 50th anniversary of Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination, I'm hosting a special documentary tomorrow night that looks at the civil rights movement through the lens of how television news captured it at the time, and how Dr. King proved to be far more media savvy than he is often remembered for.
We have no moral choice but to continue the struggle, not for ourselves alone, but for all America.
King developed a strategy of resistance that was designed to challenge the status quo while never making white America feel threatened. He consciously set about creating a character palatable to all of America. Martin Luther King understood that if you're only telling the story, among the black press and among black people, you're preaching to the choir. You've got to get outside the church.
What special instructions or advice had been given the Negro people?
If there is violence, that it must not come from Negro people.
King's efforts to woo the media started to pay off. Soon, King was the story, and the story was the movement.
More than 12 months now, we, the Negro citizens of Montgomery, have been engaged in a nonviolent protest.
The boycotters faced death threats and persecution, but under the leadership of Dr. King, they mounted a successful and peaceful campaign. Facing financial crisis and failing in the courts, the city of Montgomery relented and ordered that black passengers be allowed to sit anywhere. The 2-hour premiere of Hope and Fury, MLK, The Movement, and the Media airs tomorrow night at 8, 7 Central here on NBC. That is Nightly News for this Friday night. I'm Lester Holt. For all of us at NBC News, thank you for watching and good night.
They trusted him until he betrayed them all. Tonight, an unbelievable discovery.
He's here in New York.
Is he back to finish what he started?
It's a trap. We gotta get down!
Blind Spot, new tonight on NBC.
Keeping you informed everywhere. KSBY News starts right now.
Games are canceled after fields have been flooded from this week's storm. High school athletes now wondering when they'll get to play again. Good evening and thanks for joining us for the news at 6. I'm Karina Corral. Richard Gearhart is off tonight. Many of the sports fields in Santa Maria are flooded and closed until further notice. KSBY News reporter Fabiola Ramirez joins us now live in Santa Maria. Bobby, how's that field looking behind you?
Well, Karina, it's gated up because it's full of water. This is how many of the fields look, with puddles, standing water, or just too muddy to play in. That is why the city has closed it off and is not letting anyone play, canceling a lot of games for this weekend.
That's the sound of water being pumped out from the ball fields. The recent rains left quite the mess, prompting the closure of all fields in town, not only for safety concerns, but also to avoid further damage.
When you have people out on the fields with spikes and cleats and things like that, it does a lot of damage to the field itself.
Some fields turn into mini lakes, while others are simply too muddy or slippery.
It's not until you step on the field where you start to sink, and the girls are running. So the last thing we need is a slippery ground where they can go past a base, break an ankle, break an arm.
Esmeralda Mendoza, a parent and president of the Girls Softball League, went out Friday morning to take a look at the fields and says all upcoming games will need to be postponed.
We'll most likely have to add games during the week and maybe add some double headers throughout. We might end up having to add Sunday games.
All Santa Maria girls softball practices were canceled for the whole week, and now a total of 39 games will need to be rescheduled. Soccer and baseball games will also need to be rescheduled or played elsewhere, as all fields as well as basins are closed.
Usually they go in there and they remove the water, and then they'll let it dry over the weekend, and after that they'll go in there with rakes and things like that, and they'll put some dirt on top of it if necessary.
I'm told the plan is to have the ball fields open by Monday, and as far as it comes to the basins, it could take up to a week depending on how much water they took in. Live and local in Santa Maria, I'm Fabiola Ramirez, KSBY News.
All right, Fabi, thank you. And sports field conditions are also posted on the Rec and Parks Department Facebook and Twitter pages. Let's go on over to Dave now to see just how much rain fell to cause this mess. Dave?
It's incredible how much rain fell across the area. We talked so much about the threats outside of things like ball fields, but yeah, it can absolutely have a huge impact. We're not entirely done yet. There's a chance of a few more showers over the weekend. That's Pismo Beach live at our KSBY.com webcam. So Rocky Butte, 10.5 inches of rain. Cambria, nearly 5. Paso Robles, 4 1/4. Morro Bay, nearly 4. Cal Poly, 4.5. Pismo Beach, 3.5. Oceano, 2.5. Napomo, 3.6 inches of rain. Santa Maria, 2.43 inches. Vandenberg, nearly 3 inches of rain. Buellton, 3 inches. Gaviota, 5 inches. Montecito, 4 inches. Santa Barbara, 4 inches, and Carpinteria, 3.38 inches of rain. Now, coming up, we'll talk about the rainfall potential over the weekend, changes for next week, and we're going to give you some perspective on what it's doing for lake levels. And did we actually catch up? Was it a miracle March so far, or do we still need more rain? We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Until then, Karina, back to you.
All right, Dave, thank you. A follow-up now to yesterday's river rescues in Paso Robles. 10 people and a dog were pulled to safety as the Salinas River swelled during the storm. We've learned another dog died. KSBY News reporter Alexa Bertola joins us live in Paso Robles with newly released video of those dramatic rescues.
That's right, Karina. We just got that footage from the CHP. Now, they rescued 6 people with their H-70 helicopter.
Okay, I see them. All right.
All 10 of those rescues happened during a 4-hour period. First responders went from rescue to rescue. Besides this new footage you're looking at from the helicopter's view, on the ground, our cameras were also rolling. This is just one of the rescues that happened in the river. Taking a look at the river today, it's definitely much calmer and the water level has also gone down a bit. Paso Robles police say since the storm, no missing persons reports have been filed, so everyone who lives in the riverbed is accounted for. The police department says roughly 25 people live in this area of the riverbed. Those who were rescued were previously contacted in person by the fire department and warned that the storm was on the way and the river could fill up quickly. The police department adds that this was probably one of the biggest rescues they've had in the riverbed because for some reason folks did not listen like seasons past.
We're in the riverbed at least once a week usually. As you know, over the last couple of years, we've really made a strong effort to discourage people from camping in the river, and this is one of the main reasons. There's hazards down there.
And officials say no further operations happened at the river today. Police add that it's illegal to camp at the river, so citations are sometimes given out or people are asked to comply within a certain time frame. And a citation costs $33 and up. For now, live and local in Paso Robles, Alexa Bertola, KSBY News.
All right, Alexa, thank you. And when it does rain, Paso Cares is able to shelter the homeless, although we are just learning that they were unable to get enough chaperones, so the warming station will be closed tonight, but hopefully reopened tomorrow. And in other news, hundreds of thousands of people are expected to participate in rallies around the country demanding gun reform. 800,000 alone will march in D.C. more than a month after a school shooting in Parkland, Florida that left 17 dead. The Central Coast will also take part. Tomorrow afternoon, thousands of people are expected to gather at Mitchell Park in San Luis Obispo. KSBY News reporter Molly Casey is there now live to take a look at the preparations and what we should expect. Molly?
Karina, last year a march organized by the Women's March SLO brought as many as 10,000 people here to Mitchell Park. And with the recent school shootings, the event organizers expect just as many people to attend tomorrow.
We're coming out because a tragedy happened, and we're coming out to stand in solidarity.
Saturday afternoon, Mitchell Park in downtown San Luis Obispo will swell with thousands of people taking part in the national March for Our Lives movement.
We expect thousands of people to come downtown to support students who are standing up and saying that they want Congress to come up with a bipartisan solution to make their schools safe and to end mass shootings across America.
Dawn Addis of Women's March SLO says students from every high school in San Luis Obispo County will be part of the event, hoping their voices are heard.
It's not about ending anybody's rights to own guns. It's not about attacking the Second Amendment. It's about how do we address this intersection between school safety and gun violence.
But with thousands of demonstrators comes an increased need for safety, a large task the San Luis Obispo Police Department has been planning for.
We're bringing in allied resources from all the agencies in the county and even reaching as far south as Santa Maria for extra help. We're even bringing in California Men's Colony to help out with some of their personnel.
Sergeant John Volante of the SLO PD planned the department's response to the event, including 16 to 18 motorcycle officers and foot patrols for directing traffic and marchers.
We're expecting this to be a safe, fun march and allow them to have their First Amendment right and get their message out safely.
Now, Mr. Volante said that tomorrow those barricades will be going up at 11 a.m. and there will be event organizers helping to direct traffic around the route. And both Addis and Mr. Volante said that they expect tomorrow's event to be peaceful. Live in San Luis Obispo, Molly Casey, KSBY News.
Molly, thank you. Officers and volunteers will be stationed at the blocked intersections to redirect traffic.